All right, welcome back, everyone. We are here at Automate Live. I'm Jake Hall, the Manufacturing Millennial, continuing to interview some incredible people and hear their stories about what's happening in the automation, robotics, and industrial community. I'm here with Charlie Norris, who is the Senior Product Manager of Wago. Charlie, how you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. So the relationship with Wago goes back many, many, many years. Yeah. I started as a distributor for you guys back in 2013.
Okay.
And sold your product for many years, and you guys have a lot of cool technology that you guys are showcasing on. So for the audience who's not familiar with Wago, can you give us a background of who Wago is as a company?
Yeah, for sure. We're really known for our as cage clamps. We developed the cage clamp connector to help or to eliminate loose wiring and interconnection. So we have a whole line of terminal blocks and 2-1s we're famous for electrical wiring. But over the last decade, we've been expanding into automation. So we have a full line of PLC controllers, Ethernet switches, HMIs that also all use that spring cage technology inside of them.
Yes.
And then all of our platform, we program with Codis software, so make it really easy for our customers to switch from one platform to the other platform. They don't have to learn a new software, or they can import-export code from one platform to the other. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of amazing product lines that Wago's had. So, you know, I always remember you guys from the wire nuts and all that stuff, and of course all of the internal components that go inside of a panel. But I want to dive more into this automation platform that you guys are pushing out recently, and really making it so it's not just devices that are always inside the panel or communication that's happening just inside the panel. Can you talk more about the automation platform at Wago?
Yeah, the automation platform, we have both IP20 that you're going to put in the control panel. We have IP67 as well for remote I/O. And we've got kind of now a platform from fixed I/O controllers to flexible I/O. We're known for having slice I/O that customers can pick the I/O that they need and just put it on a DIN rail and away they go. So it makes it really easy to design a system for whatever I/O combination that you need. And we have a lot of specialty modules, things like a 3-phase power measurement module where you can measure energy consumption, phase angle, harmonics, to help people get a handle on energy usage and to help them optimize it.
For sure. You know, the one thing that, as the industry is changing, I've seen more and more technology coming from Wago over the past few years. So it's not just, PLCs that you guys are doing running on Codis, but you guys are also talking about and pushing more on the edge controller side as well. Can you talk more about what that solution looks like?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of customers, of course, here at Automate. You see it all over, right? People trying to collect data from their plant floor, and then they want to analyze that data, and really the whole goal in the end is really to optimize their process, right, and make sure they're running most optimally. So a lot of people don't want to do that on PLC because it takes a lot of resources at the PLC level. So we have our edge devices that can collect data. It can do analytics. A lot of times you may want to compress that data. You don't want to send all your data to the cloud because it gets kind of expensive, but you can send a lot of the contextualized data up to the cloud to get that real good view of what's happening on the platform or on your plant floor.
So let's dive more into the analytics and data side that's happening on automation, right? I think for a long time, the PLC was just a controller that was making machines run, but now all of a sudden we want to understand better, what does productivity mean? What does production over time mean? How efficient are our operators? Could you dive into why we're seeing a trend from manufacturers when it comes to pulling more analytics and data from these machines?
Yeah, I think it's really, we're living in a smaller and smaller world, right? Competition is really tough in the manufacturing world, so a lot of our customers are looking for ways, find ways to optimize, right? And they need to do that. And, we're helping customers even on our PLC level. We support a protocol called MQTT right in our PLCs. So if you want to send data right to a cloud, that's a preferred protocol for doing that, and so give that data right to a cloud if you wish, or SCADA system, right? But we're also seeing people use these edge controllers right in the middle as well.
And what industries do you see using these controllers? I mean, where are you seeing your solutions being installed today?
We're seeing a lot on the factory floor, right? People are installing. They have legacy systems where they need to collect that data, and that's I think a big market for it. We're also seeing a lot of things in I'd say, the energy industry, and I mean things like around renewable energy microgrids are being very popular, right? So you got to collect the data from those platforms as well. So that's kind of an expanding market and a kind of exciting new market that we're moving into.
So when you look at, you talked about brownfield facilities, right? It was going in and it was connecting to devices on a aging platform that they want to pull analytics from now. Where do you see companies struggling the most with when it comes to maybe misconceptions around how difficult it might be to get data, or not understanding, hey, I don't need to completely change out or upgrade my entire control system to begin to collect information on my floor?
Yeah, I mean, the old adage, right? If it works, don't fix it, right? So you don't want to go on your legacy equipment and start changing something that has been working for you for years. So a lot of our customers are using a PLC controller with I/O on board. They'll connect to things like the stack light, or maybe grab some temperatures or RPMs or on their platform, right? And the machine, that their legacy machine, still doing what they're doing, but they're adding this onto it to collect that data. Right? And that way you don't have to change the PLC program to find tags or whatever you need to do. You can just collect it without touching anything on your platform.
And the big thing I look at it too, of a lot of cases, is you don't have to worry about downtime. If you can go out here and you can grab data in parallel of a production system, you're not going to shut down lines for weeks and months at a time. You can go out there, you can grab the data, and then you can begin to access analytics real time and begin to make decisions that on that data. It's one of those things, you're not just collecting data, you can actually make actionable decisions that are going to make change.
Yeah, for sure. And we're seeing, we used to have operators on the plant floor. Now we have connected workers, right? So the people on the plant floor need that information in near real time, right? To see what's going on the line upstream of where they're working or downstream of where they're working, right? And so a lot of our HMIs have these tools in as well. So not only just sending data northbound, you want to send data southbound to give the connected worker a lot of information about what's happening on the plant floor and how they can adjust, right? Give them that information to make intelligent decisions.
Absolutely. So let's talk about one of the newer products that you guys are pushing. You're putting you're just recently launched the DER controller from Wago. Can you dive more into that? How did that come to market? Like, what was the reason you guys wanted to bring this technology there?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting technology. And the DER controller is really focused on, DER stands for Distributed Energy Resource. So that could be a solar field, a wind plant, or a microgrid. And as these become more and more prevalent, right, there had to be a way for a grid operator, that's your utility, right, to integrate with these devices, interface with these devices to make sure you have the right power coming on the grid. And these devices can really help improve grid, right? They can help things like voltage sag, they can boost up voltage, of course, obviously add a lot of energy on the platform as well. It's rather new. There's a new standard. It's called IEEE 1547, which is this integration standard of how to communicate the DER with the utility. And so we've launched our DER controller that meets the requirements of 1547. So it makes it a lot easier for an owner of a DER solar field or microgrid to put this install this. They know it meets the 1547 platform, right? And it can talk with a grid. Usually a grid owner, usually a DMP3 protocol is pretty popular here in the States.
And I think it just goes back to, right, when regardless of what industry that we're in or what application data and being able to then make actionable data, like we just talked about in the previous conversation, like what we're doing here with the DER controller is getting data. If it's in the renewable energies or a solar farm, or if it's on your manufacturing floor, it could even be, a solar farm that's on top of a manufacturing building.
Right,
there's a lot of different applications that are being done. So I want to dive into next about, we have IoT in a box. That's another one. So let's talk about IoT in a box. It's expanding, I would assume, on data collection and a really easy form factor, right?
Yeah, correct. So you mentioned before, people have legacy systems and how do I collect that data, right? So our IoT in a box is to make that much easier for a customer to install an enclosure. They connect to like a stack light or an energy source, right, to measure energy. And then through just configuration using a web browser, they can configure what those inputs are. and then this device then will send that data up to a cloud where you can get analytics off of it, and you don't have to be a programmer to do it. You don't need to know PLC code, you don't need to know, C code, right? It's all done through configuration. So it's a much easier way to get someone started by collecting data off their plant floor without having to be a expert in PLCs.
Absolutely. I think it's one of those things that we always look at. How do we make collecting data and getting information easy for the manufacturer? Because a lot of times it could be intimidating. It could be systems that are 20, 30, 40 years old. You might not have a controls engineer that's on house that knows how to connect things, but you want to understand what is some productivity that I'm doing? What are my energy consumptions? How often is my air compressor turning on and off? As we know, compressed air is a very big power consumption within a manufacturing facility. Do I have leaks running throughout the night when I am not running anything yet? My generator is still kicking on and off every 35 minutes. That's all applications that IoT in the box could use.
Yeah, and absolutely you can, and then you start monitoring that, like, oh, my compressor's running faster and faster, or turning on more and more often, over time, like, oh, we probably do have leaks somewhere, so you can go track those down and save energy.
Absolutely, or going out there and hooking up to some of your large horsepower motors, where you want to go out there and you want to know, hey, am I getting a little wobble? What's happening? And it's preventative maintenance, it's real-time analytics, and it just goes to show how important collecting data is for manufacturers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when we look at the general industry, with the few minutes that we have left, what do you see the industry moving in the next few years ahead of time? And then what is Wago most excited about when it comes to those industry trends?
Yeah, I think it's all around collecting data, right? That's where everything's going, like we just talked about. So I think the next step really is we have to find easy ways for analytics to get that data to the right people at the right time, and get that real-time information. And then, as mentioned before, it's also have to send that data back down to the plant so the connected worker can make those real-time decisions. So I think that's just going to expand over the next several years, and it's just going to become more and more important. So that's one area we're looking at. We also think that the energy market, especially with renewable energy and the electrification of automobiles, right, is also going to add a lot of challenges. So we're working on products to fit in that market space as well to help users manage energy. But here again, it's all about data, like collecting data, how much energy you have available, what kind of vehicle you have, or how many vehicles that you have. So those are all kind of exciting new things coming down the road.
Absolutely. So you guys are also showcasing here at Automate.
Yeah.
What new technologies that we talked about do you guys have in your booth that people can come in, stop by, take a look at? What do you want them to see?
Yeah, we have our whole portfolio of automation products showing in our booth today, and we have our IP67 platform, and we have a simulator for our DER controller. So
awesome.
Come on by.
Fantastic. Well, Charlie, if people want to learn more about Wago and they're not able to check it out here at Automate, where should they go?
It's easy. Just find us on our webpage. It's wago.com/US. Bring you right there.
Fantastic. Well, Charlie Norris, Senior Product Manager of Wago, really appreciate your time. Love talking about mobile, the IoT in a box, the DER controller, edge controllers, the new technology that you're bringing to bring data into the hands of a lot of manufacturers and end users. We really appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks for the opportunity.